Bonjour.
Alors, nous sommes le 22 juillet. Demain, on part aux États-Unis. Thierry est en train de, naturellement, sauver le monde, protéger le monde, conquérir le monde et gouverner le monde. Les températures actuellement sont incroyables. Il fait 30 et on ressent 42-43.
Change mon t-shirt, je colle au dossier.
Ouais. Thierry, tes impressions pour le voyage?
Je prends ça bien relax, là. No stress, no big deal. Les États-Unis, là. Come on.
OK.
Ben, l'an passé, je suis allé en Chine, là. Mais on va quand même avoir du fun. Je vais passer ma fête à Boston sur une croisière, je pense. Je suis pas sûr. On va aller à Philadelphie sur les marches de Rocky. Puis on va aller refaire le tour de Times Square à New York, puis plein d'autres affaires, là. Je sais pas trop ce qu'on a planifié.
Fait qu'on va être positif?
Oui, on va être positif.
OK. On suit ça de proche.
Ouais.
Alors, dans la suite des préparatifs, c'est commencé. Les dames préparent les valises et tout ça. Alors, dans nos préparatifs, on a fait ça comme il faut, je crois. Alors, on a les coordonnées GPS, les adresses, les téléphones et tout ça. On va emmener le portable, on travaille avec GPS et Google Earth. Ça devrait bien aller. On parlait de température tantôt. Eh bien, actuellement, il fait 85. Il faisait 80 ce matin. Et hier soir, il faisait 89. J'ai même couché dehors. Alors, Marianne, des préparatifs?
Ouais, je suis en train de préparer le shampoing maintenant.
OK. Shampoing, pelule, médicaments, tout ce qu'il faut.
Maman, Thierry devrait prendre ses vitamines B.
Oui, on va tout s'occuper de ça.
Ah.
On procède par étapes.
La famille Griswold. Alors, juste un petit look de quoi j'ai l'air. Je vais t'en aller la chaleur et tout ça. Je me fais un peu pousser la barbe. Je vais voir ça un petit peu. Et c'est pas apprécié dans la maison.
Ouais! Ouais!
Alors, fils, quels sont les préparatifs?
A lot of kiss.
A lot of kiss. Alors, 23 juillet, 5h40 du matin.
Vilon!
Comment?
Vilon!
On lève l'angle presque. Une déclaration?
Comment?
Une déclaration?
Ça va torcher.
Ça va torcher. Marianne à l'ouvrage. On a encore dormi dehors parce qu'il faisait très chaud. Bon.
Change super.
Ben, c'est ça, mais.
Eh bien, c'est les situations.
Mettre dans le frigo.
J'avais essayé de photographier des grosses montagnes de même en voyage.
Ouais.
Ça n'a pas marché.
T'avais passé ici, toi, Thierry?
Voyage à Clermont, là.
Ouais, t'avais passé ici?
Ouais, dans les environs, là. Pas sur ton chemin-là. Mais check derrière. La montagne, là, juste là.
Alors Thierry, tu nous fais la description de ce qui a été fait jusqu'à maintenant?
We was in la
En
voiture.
français?
We was in.
On a été dans la voiture toute la journée. Pogné, on faisait des switches parce que personne aime être au milieu. Je viens d'y aller, là, c'est pas le fun. Là.
Attends un peu, par là.
Là, on est en train de se préparer à aller dans le village de Salem de 1630 pour voir les affaires sur la chasse aux sorcières que j'ai pas beaucoup compris. Là, ça va être le temps d'écouter Witch Hunt de Rush. On se prépare. Puis,
Là, je pense qu'on va
autre
se
chose à
traîner.
dire?
OK, pour
As-tu
les,
du spray?
Oui.
Good!
pour les petites informations, il est 2h30 de l'après-midi. On est parti à 6h le matin. Puis il fait 34 degrés Celsius.
Non, Marianne.
C'est chaud.
On va pas garder sur son froid en tout cas.
Crème à papa.
Mhm. Oui.
So this is Pioneer Village. The village itself was actually built in 1930. They were putting on a giant pageant to commemorate the 300th anniversary of John Winthrop's landing. Winthrop landed in 1630, if you do the math, and he was the first governor of Massachusetts. So a very important man. All the houses are facing this way. That's because this was a theater set, basically. That pond back there used to be a field, and people came in and they would stand there. Winthrop came in on his ship, the Arabella. Everyone in the town went out to greet him, and then Salem's plans were that they were just going to tear the whole thing down. And then after that happened, they realized that after all the effort they put into it, and after all the good tourism that it had brought, maybe it was a better idea to leave the whole thing up. So it passed in and out of people's hands over the years, and Gordon College, which is a local college, got a hold of it a couple of years ago, restored it, and that's the village you see today.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily we're still able to lead people around on tours and talk about the settlement of Salem.
Okay.
I'm just going to talk about a couple people who are important in the settlement of Salem. So there's John Winthrop, and he was in 1630, but before him there were two men that are important to know. One of them is named Roger Conant. In 1623 he was in Plymouth, and he was hired by the Dorchester Company, which was a fishing company, to go up to Gloucester, which is north of Salem, and start the fishing company. He was in charge of all the men there. Unfortunately, they were apparently not very good at fishing, because after 6 months the company went bankrupt. Most of the men knew that they were beat, went back to England. A couple of them went to Jamestown, which is in Virginia, where it's much warmer probably. And then Conant and a couple of diehards decided to stick around. They moved a little bit south to Namkeg, which was what Salem used to be called, and they settled there. Now a couple years after that was in 1626, a couple years after that, a man named John Endicott came over, so in 1628, and he came with the New England Charter. So basically his job was to govern Salem, and then to prepare the way for when Winthrop was going to come. So he came, they did their best to build buildings, and then in 1630 Winthrop came, and eventually the charter became the Massachusetts Bay Charter, and all the settlements in the area sort of joined together under one Massachusetts Bay colony. So, if you'll move this way, you can see some of the efforts that John Endicott would have put into helping his people and giving them structures to live in. A lot of these people are from London, so they're from the city. They weren't used to hunting. Nobody had land to hunt on until back in England. They weren't used to fishing. They really had no idea what they were doing. It's like if you brought me on a deserted island and gave me an axe and said, "Here, survive." So they landed in the fall. Winter was coming, and it was actually during a mini ice age, so it was very, very cold. All they had were tents. They decided they should probably try to make something a little bit more durable. So they came up with the dugouts, which still don't look very comfortable, but maybe better than tents. They dug them out of the hill, would chop down small trees, string them together, and then as many families as could fit would be in there. So they would actually sleep sitting up at night. That's how many people were in there. You can go ahead and take a look inside.
Mm-hmm. The fireplace.
Came to the area of Salem, they were expecting to find a lot of Native Americans, maybe afraid of the trouble that they were going to have with them. We're really unsure about it, but actually what had unfortunately happened was the local Namkeg tribe had been mostly wiped out by a sickness brought by seasonal fishermen. So what they found were a lot of empty villages, which to the Puritans was a sign from God that he had prepared the way for them. So they freely took the ideas of the structures that they found there, such as the wigwam. Normally a wigwam would have animal skins or straw mats on the outside, but the English decided that they had a better idea, and they brought over thatching from England. So that's like the weird reeds you see hanging off of it. It makes it look kind of furry, but it actually works really well as insulation. Air gets into the hollow reeds, keeps good air in and bad air out, and it's supposed to be the coolest building in the summer and the warmest building in the winter. So you guys can go in and see for yourselves.
Ben oui.
Vous aurez que c'est fait.
Mhm.
On va rester ici. Est-ce que ça produit ça en feu comme ça? something that looked more like a house. So you can see they came up with this sort of cottage. Wasn't a log cabin, which probably would have taken a lot less time to build, and maybe would have even been warmer, but they would have taken the extra time to shave down the wood to make it look more like home. You can see there's still thatch in the roofs. That was widely used until around 1640 when they discovered that the combination of dry thatch and fireplaces was maybe not the best in the world. So after that they would use more of the flat tiles. This house was being built. Community was very important. Everyone was helping out in building the houses because they wanted to get them up as quickly as possible. So, again, it was pretty crowded. Mostly people would sleep on the floor. You couldn't afford a bedstand unless you were really wealthy. So everyone basically had straw mats like that one. Couldn't have been too comfortable, but it seemed to work. During the day, everyone would clear out. They all had their jobs to do. Men would be learning how to fish and hunt, and then women would be in here cooking, cleaning, and mending. They would take anything they weren't using and store it up in their loft. So women would be cooking all day. They would usually have a fire going every day, all day. We don't have any fires in the village today for obvious reasons. But even her kids would be around helping her. If you were younger, you would be grinding spices with a mortar and pestle, like the one you see over there. And if you were as young as 5 years old, you could be in the fireplace turning the rotisserie. So everyone had a job to do, even if you were very small. Well, when Endicott came, he wanted a house that was a bit fancier than this one. So if you walk this way, you can go into the governor's house, and that's where...
Ça, c'est la maison du gouverneur. Là, je m'excuse, là, mais c'est pas très bon.
En tout cas, ça me donne ma campagne.
And you can see the blacksmith is there too. And you learn about the weaponry.
Hey, ça, c'est une machine à couture.
Le ouais.
Hi, you can have a seat. How you doing? So welcome. This is Blue Hall in the governor's house. And this is where a lot of their everyday life would take place, certainly. And the governor's house is really busy. And later when he has the ministers living here as well, 1629, he would have 3 families living in 3 separate rooms, and one room above us that has no fireplace was all storage, and the attic as well. So he'd be storing some of the weaponry and the gunpowder in the room without the fireplace and things of that sort, and the food and whatever supplies he had that he could dole out to people on occasion. And here you see some of the dishware on the shelves. It's very different from what you have at home probably, and on the tables also. You'll see we have redware pottery. We have some ironware. We have wooden bowls, which were called treenware, a little bit of pewter, and everyday sort of life would be used a lot of the wooden treenware. And at table, nothing matched. You didn't have fancy dishware like we have today. You just had whatever worked, basically. And you ate with fingers, knife, and spoon. And you'd have a napkin over your shoulder to keep you set and clean. And that's how you enjoyed. All the cooking is done there on the fireplace and on the hearth and on the spit if you have a bird or a piece of venison or something that you want to cook up. So we have a busy fireplace usually, but it's been a little prohibitive for the heat the last few days, so we haven't had it going, but normally we do. And we do cook the recipes of the Puritans. They had some really good food. Yeah, it's a little hot on the fire today. It was even hotter yesterday.
Oh.
I don't think I've ever seen it 100 degrees over here this way. So it was pretty bad. Where are you from?
Quebec. Province
Oh,
of Quebec.
have you ever seen 100? We do spin our wool and we make knitted items.
Up your
They
skirts
were
around
knitting.
it.
That was nice. It kept you warm.
A foot warmer.
Yeah. It was one of the ways of getting some heat. They didn't have a lot.
It is a school.
C'est une école.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are the things the children would use to memorize. They would have their alphabet and Lord's Prayer and numbers and various things on them. And then they would have a piece of animal horn, very thin. This is parchment, but just to give you the idea. And they would tack that on, and then when they memorized all that, they'd switch it and put another piece in there for them to work on.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see it a little better with without the covering. But the animal horn was very thin, so almost like we'd use plastic today. They didn't have that. And they could also practice their letters. They could write on it and erase it without harming the original sheet underneath.
So it's like it is school here? or-
Yes, they'd use it for school, but most of the children were taught at home except for the young men. They would be taught by the ministers of the church because they would be going, many of them, not all, that would be going back to England, to Oxford or Cambridge. Now back then you only had two career choices, minister or lawyer. That's it. So pick one. And so many of the young men would apprentice to someone like Bert at the blacksmith shop, and you would live with his family and apprentice for 10 years. So people didn't marry young. They married usually in their 20s because it was usually about 10 or 12 when somebody would apprentice, and they'd be done around 20, 22, and then they'd start to think about their own business and marry. So it was a busy time. And there were lots of other things too. You could become a sawyer, someone who cuts the wood, a carpenter, a cooper who makes barrels, a salter, which is what Roger Conant was, help salt the fish and the things to send back to England. So there are many things you could do. Somebody who makes pottery. In those days, in the early days, the men were weavers. And at this point, we didn't have any weavers over here because they were too busy doing other things. So it would start to transfer to the ladies within the next century. And you'd find the ladies doing the weaving after a while because the men were just busy with other stuff, trying to stay alive, keep everyone going. These are some of the toys. You're going to have to try some.
The toys.
Children's toys. Church on Sunday meeting started in the morning. You had a midday break. Men, women, and children were to come. Children were to behave after age 3. They were supposed to come. If you didn't come, you better have a good excuse because they would come to your house. Oh, you got it right away. Wow, the girls out there couldn't get it at all. I was just going to go show them. You better have a good excuse if you didn't come to Sunday meeting because they would come to your house. And if you didn't have a good excuse, you would be in the stocks and pillory.
Oh,
So, yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
A
yes.
pillory.
Stocks and pillory, either one.
Whoa.
With a sign around your neck saying what you did wrong.
Oh.
So, and if children were misbehaved or mouthed off at the parents, they would have that written on here and they would have to wear that around for a whole day, all through town, so that all the other parents could yell at them too. Here we have some more of the children's toys. We have,
Oh.
can we try Jacob's ladder?
Oh, I know that.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
So it's
Pretty
an
well
old
considering
trick.
how humid it is.
It's an old trick.
Yeah, it's pretty neat, isn't it? Want to try it?
Oh, we got one.
Oh, you have one. Did you want to try it?
Huh?
You want to
No,
try it?
I have it. You gave one to
Oh,
me.
you got one too. Okay.
I found the same thing when I was in
Oh.
China.
Oh, fun. Wow. That's great. It makes a buzzing noise. It's the buzzsaw. It keeps everyone going. So these are some of the games they'd introduced. They also had 9 pins, the little bowling,
Okay.
and they had a wooden ball, and they would set that, it was called Skittles, and they played that outside. But eventually, it became too popular with some of the adults who started betting and making bets on it, and they canceled, they wouldn't let them play it anymore. Now, they were more worried about French and Spanish than they were about local Indians, because there were not that many, and those here were friendly. So they had to be, but they would not have been able to defend themselves terribly well, I have to They weren't really good at firing muskets, they were city people.
Holland decided to get all the fighting men together and for the first time write down training manuals. No one had ever actually written down military training manuals before. So what they did was they formed this new, they got all the fighting men together, dug out the history books, decided they would settle on the 16-foot pike. They cut about 4 feet off the Macedonian 20-footers, and they wrote manuals on how to train. And the strength of a pike lies not in an individual's ability to fight with it, because this is very cumbersome. You can't have a unit go out there, just charge swinging this thing without, has a lot of fancy positions and circles and diagrams. And he said, oh, that's a wonderful style of fighting for killing your friends during peacetime, but it's going to be completely ineffective against the enemy on the battlefield. So he has 2 stances for fighting. One, do you want to put that down? You tired of that? Okay. You want to hold the gun?
Yeah. Too heavy, man.
I didn't really answer your question about how heavy weapons were.
Well, that must
Well,
be
they are light. A full pike never exceeds 8 pounds. And the fact that it's so long makes that weight spread out. The gun never exceeds 10 pounds. And a sword never exceeds 3 pounds. Since the Middle Ages, the average sword weighs 3 pounds. They have to be lightweight because you are carrying this all day long. You'll probably start marching at sunup to the battlefield. By midday, you're probably ready to fight, and you cannot be exhausted simply by carrying your tools. You have to be ready to engage in battle until sundown. The way you work a gun is, okay, I'll demonstrate how this works. What we have here is the match. There's a little rope that's been soaked in nitrate. It's going to burn very hot but very slowly. And the musketeer wants to keep this to the side because he's going to be dealing with a lot of gunpowder. And so that could ignite the whole thing and suddenly, boom. So what he'll first do is set it down, and he has a bandolier, which is like a leather sash with little pockets on it. He'll rip one off, empty all the gunpowder into there. And that'll go down. He'll take out the ramrod. He'll get that in there. He'll force the gunpowder to the bottom. Set it back in. Reach into a little pouch he has. Pull out a bullet, which is wrapped in a wad of paper. He'll shove that in there. Once again, pull out the ramrod. Push it back down again. And insert it back in. Then he'll come down to here, and he'll take another sort of starter powder, put it in here, and as you can see, there's a little hole. That leads to the chamber where all that gunpowder and the bullet has just been shoved. And what we then do is then cover this pan with a lid, and as you can see, the pan has been broken off. We're looking for something to replace that, because until then you can't effectively fire this. Because the next step is to cover it, and then take the match and test to see that you can actually get it in there. This burning match is going to ignite that starter powder. Hopefully that'll get a spark to go into the chamber, and bang! The bullet goes flying. What you do is you then set the match in the hammer like that. Get it in there, and then you pull on the trigger to see if it'll go into the chamber. And if not, you have to adjust it a little bit. Then you remove the lid, and then you aim and fire. Hopefully, that goes in there, ignites the powder, and bang. But there's any number of things that can go wrong in that time. This process probably takes about 30 seconds if you're fast. Something can be wrong with your powder. Maybe you didn't store it well, maybe it got wet. Maybe there's something lodged in there, like maybe this fell in the mud, there's dirt in there, and so the powder didn't even get to the bottom. There's dirt or twigs in there. Maybe a spark didn't even reach there. Maybe you just got a flash in the pan, which is where we get that expression. Maybe a spark did get in there, but it didn't hit the powder, it hit the paper instead. And so you'll go to like, oh, okay, it didn't fire, I didn't hear a bang or anything, but then it slowly, burns out of the paper, hits the powder, and as you're going to reload, boom! Just took off Charlie's head, standing right next to me. So if you don't get a bang right away, you have to effectively empty out the bullet, waste all that powder, and you have to start all over again. So it's a long process.
Hi,
Hello?
Mr. Blacksmith. Is it what you are?
It's true.
Yes. The iron worker.
I would have been the first blacksmith to come here
Uh-huh.
in 1630. I would have brought with me an anvil on the ship, a vice on the ship, a couple of tongs, and a couple of hammers over here. Everything else I would have made when I got here, including the building that I'm in. In the very, very beginning, what I had was a hole in the ground.
Okay.
That was my fire. And that's where I worked from for the first 3 or 4 months. Basically, our mission was to survive. Not so much to catch the fish in the beginning, but to survive. Okay? We came in November. We had to worry about housing right off. Not catching fish, housing to keep us from dying. We had a couple of animals with us, and us keep your things alive. And we made great efforts. And in the spring, half of the 150 were dead. 75 left. Even with all the efforts. You see, English people did not know what 15 feet of snow was. But they found out when they got to New England. In England, you have 5 or 6 inches. Because your whole island is surrounded by the Gulf Stream, which is warm. That's why all the fog, all the rain, all the temperate weather. Excuse me. I'm suffering here because it's 115 degrees, or it was. Maybe it's a little cooler now, but
We
you
understand.
can't even think, you know. And where was I? What was I? What did I?
About the temperature?
No.
The weather,
Before.
people die.
15 feet of snow. They couldn't find their homes. They couldn't find their children. They couldn't find anything. Where's my? I don't know. Gone. That's it. And we make a joke because that's what you do with weather. You make jokes, you know. You can't do anything about it, so you make jokes.
So-
And half of them died. 75 left in the spring. Okay. And they went on from there and built this country. Not just us. Not just this one. There were many of these, up and down the whole coast, from Florida all the way to Maine.
Yeah.
Everywhere. You know, little villages. You know. Doing the same thing, you know, trying to stay alive, trying to make it do, you know. And that's basically what we did. Anything that you smell, anything that you hear, anything that you see that you don't understand, please ask me. I'll try to make it so you do before you leave. Very important to ask questions. People say, oh, that's not, of course it's important. You don't know it's important. Yeah?
The most requested tools that blacksmith have to make.
Not necessarily tools.
No.
Okay? I would repair things
Okay.
the first year because things would break. Things wouldn't work anymore. They'd get a hole. Something was wrong with it. Okay? I would fix it.
Okay.
Keep it going. The reason why? They couldn't wait 6 to 9 months for a ship to go to England and come back with whatever they needed. They needed it right there. This was a company. Okay? So if it wasn't in the very, very beginning trying to stay alive, they were trying to make money. Okay? And they needed the things that they needed then, not 6 or 9 months. You know? Oh, I'll wait for a ship. You know? I'm on break now.
Okay, repair, so...
A pot would get a hole. I'd patch the pot. Not throw it away. Patch it. Use it again. Keep it going.
Okay.
Fish hook would break. I'd make something else. I'd make a nail out of it or something. I wouldn't throw it away. You use it to make something else with, you know?
Recycle it.
And yes, exactly.
Okay.
What will be the hardest tool to produce?
And
That seems
I
reasonable.
could not do that because I couldn't. Too big, you know? That would be the most difficult.
But
That was made in a special factory.
okay.
So you have to import it in America.
England.
Okay.
I would have, yeah. I would have brought my own with me when I came,
Right.
but that would be the most difficult thing to make. Would be that.
That's pretty heavy.
Very, very heavy. This is 150 pounds.
Okay.
I don't know, in metric, I don't know what that would be, but,
The heavier, the better.
yeah.
For
oh, yes.
blacksmith.
Oh, yes. And this was the same in every country. China, Russia, Germany, France, Italy. I don't care where you are. It's the same thing. More than 2,000 years, the same thing. anvil, hammer, fire. No difference, the same thing. And they make the same things in every country. It's the same.
Oui.
Universal. You know?
And you have to, I don't know the word, you have to lighten up your fire. And the thing that brings the wind?
Pump.
The pump, okay.
It's called bellows.
Bellows?
The bellows.
Okay.
It's like giant lungs.
Yeah.
Right in the back there. And that pole pumps it. You're right.
C'est tout ce que je pense qu'ici,
Ouais, c'est
c'est
ça,
juste
ok.
la déco. Tu peux venir voir, mais t'as rien à apprendre.
Blacksmith. Ouais, OK. Blacksmith shop, blacksmith cottage. C'est sa maison.
Monde de Lily. Ici mou.
Kent hook, ça c'est un tourne-bille pour tourner des billes.
Hey, c'est comme notre patio, c'est tout mou.
Comment ça marche ça? C'est quoi? Tu pognes la bille de même puis là t'as.
C'est que tu accotes le...
Tu la cotes puis t'as la roule.
C'est ça, ta tourne, ouais. Parce que du bois, c'est très, 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 très lourd, évidemment.
C'est pas qu'il y avait autre chose là.
Ben ça, c'est un très bon semi. Tu as un bon matelas là-dessus. Là.
Ouais,
C'est
c'est
number one.
number one.
Ouais, c'est ça.
Ça, ben, c'est pas tout pareil. C'est comme hâté. Mais
Ouais,
l'hiver, peut-être que c'est là, peut-être bien.
Hey, je la filme, là, sais-tu?
Hey, c'est ma sorcière bien aimée.
Tu penses?
Oui!
Ah, c'est possible.
Ben oui, c'est elle. Ah, c'est hot.
On va aller te le montrer, ton cus focus, c'est où, là? Puis, tu mémorises.
Ben, tu mémorises. Je vais avoir aucune idée de ce que ça va être, Marc, si on se promène après ça, qu'on fait plein d'affaires, là. Tantôt qu'on vit, là, ça fait que là, tu m'as écarté bien net.
Roulez sur le 100 mètres jusqu'à la destination sur la droite.
Ça doit être l'autobus.
Salem Witches Psychic Fair. Manquait de quoi?
Hocus Pocus, là, il passe ça. C'est pas vrai. Là. Ah, ben c'est mon building.
Ton building.
C'est le building, c'est ça, je te disais? Non? Je sais plus.
Je sais pas de quoi tu parles du tout.
Hocus Pocus, il est là. Puis ça, c'est un parking.
Ben là, c'est...
Tu veux-tu qu'on aille là-dedans?
Roulez sur 60 mètres, puis tournez à droite. Tournez à droite. Puis
Vas-tu
tournez
là-dedans?
à droite.
On va-tu là-dedans?
Vas-y. Je t'en avais montré plein de parkings tantôt. Là. Si tu veux absolument venir ici. Regarde, qu'est-ce que je fais?
Ouais, je suis sûre qu'il y a une. Maman, je suis sûre qu'il y a une diarrhée pour ça au Chevrolet.
Oh, ça se peut.
Non, ben là, tantôt, il se promenait. Il est là, il cherche les spéciales, il va aller trouver les toilettes, il est allé là, puis t'es allé de l'autre bord, je pense. Là, il s'est.
Now, are you folks in here in the 1800s? He made his fortune in the Far East. Some say he made it Philly, but I'll leave that up to you. Captain wasn't married, nor did he have any. Now, the estate that we're stopped at, well, this house, the George, they chose the park across the street, which is Salem Common, and they chose the street right alongside of the Hawthorne Hotel, Washington Square South. That's what we're through. What, put up my book? And those windows are much smaller, he'd notice, and he'd presume, of course, that that's not living space. So possibly it's an attic. But is he correct in his presumption? You got that right, because that's a full floor. So you could say that Mr. Howard was looking for a tax deduction.
Right this way, folks. Please. Keep coming down.
Come on down here.
Alors, Boston, jour 1. On s'en va au Visitor Center. Alors, une tombe de Madame Elisabeth Pitty, décédée en 1805. Et on a découvert que la tombe de son mari est juste là.
Je trouve qu'elle fait pas mal plus cheap. Il n'y a rien d'écrit, même pas de date de naissance et de mort.
Ouais.
Ouais, ça a écrit d'autre part.
Il y en a qui sont vraiment sur le bord de péter.
Ah oui,
Il est décédé de 23 ans en 1793.
En 1793.
Ouais.
Aïe!
Ça en va loin pas mal. Là.
On est impressionné par la grosseur de l'arbre ici.
Vous allez marcher sur l'eau au milieu de la rue?
On va traverser jusque les bords. Après ça, on va traverser le même.
On s'en va faire ça. On y va.
Check les bonhommes, moi je check la carte ici.
C'est ça, ça guide de quelle année?
Non.
Ouais. Ben, moi, de ce que je vois derrière des échafauds, on dirait que ce sont les Renault.
Tata!
Check un gros gratte-ciel à côté. Peut-être d'aller faire un petit tour à ville, ça me taille. Ah, on va faire un petit tour.
Je crois que ça va changer.
Parce que tu vas trop vite.
Ouais, tu vas pour pas faire pause, il faut que tu te mettes à un compteur, mais ça, ça fait
Ah, OK.
comme les chats.
Alors, nous sommes dans une petite ruelle de Boston. Les arrière-cours.
Comment on fait on ton chose? Ton en haut! Mais fort! Warte dir oder verstopft das mal irgendwo
C'est bourré de la plein.
C'est moi monsieur?
And hit it.
Hey Marianne!
Ça va le faire relever, puis après ça, ils vont tout revenir.
Marianne! Prends ton sac et mets-le comme ça. Pourquoi pas? Ah, c'est correct, c'est pas de
beaucoup. Regarde beaucoup. Pour plus de chance, pas le pas. Peut-être que les petits oiseaux vont.
Ah ouais, descends ta main.
Descends encore. Descends encore.
Bouge pas! Il y en a qui étaient plus que ça.
Ça va plus, tu lèves pas ta main vite, tu vas avoir peur, ils vont tout partir d'un coup.
Ouais, mais...
Regarde, quand on est fini.
This was all once Charles River out here. Now when I say this was Charles River, you know, I'm not talking 50 feet of water. At high tide it was about 5 feet of Charles River. At low tide it was a huge polluted mud flat. And the easiest way to deal with it rather than trying to clean it up is the world's oldest annual marathon. We first ran it in 1897. 15 people ran it that year. 10 of them finished. Back in 1980, Rosie was the official female winner for all of 8 days. Why only 8 days? Is because after 8 days, everybody then realized she'd use the subway system. This is the Arlington Street Church here on the left-hand side. This is the first public building they built in the back there. This opened up in 1861. Now across over Arlington Street, off to the left-hand side, is the public garden. It's the nation's oldest public botanical garden, 1837. Now the marathon is always the third Monday in April. the left is when the swan boats officially open up for the season out there in the lagoon of the garden. They're pedal-powered boats that pay a couple of bucks. The very first ever European to set foot out here was the Reverend William Blackston. The guy was a loner. He was a hermit. He comes on over from England. We had the harbor on the other side. Darth Vader right there on the front. A very long and useless tour that was. Anne Hutchinson, Quaker, 1650s. The red brick is the original building. Designed by Charles Bulfinch, the nation's very first professional architect. Real quick though, off to the right while we have the red light here. Anybody see the movie Glory? All right, for reference sake, that's Matthew Broderick on the horse right there. He played Robert Gould Shaw. Robert Gould Shaw was the leader of the Massachusetts 54th Regiment, the very first entirely all-black volunteer regiment to fight for the North during the Civil War. So that's the Robert Gould Shaw Memorial right there. We have the Freedom Trail here in the city. It's the big red stripe. It's all the historic hotspots in the city. We also have the Black Heritage Trail. It's a guided tour. Starts here on weekdays 10, 12, and 2. Takes you all around Beacon Hill out here. We'll get to that in a bit. July 4th, 1795, the cornerstone dragged up to the top of Beacon Hill by 15 white horses representing the 15 states in our union, opened up in 1893. Anybody been to the North End? A little Italian food for you? Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. We'll go to the North End later on. But back in the 1780s, it's a half square mile. Back in the 1780s, the North End was becoming one of the most densely populated neighborhoods in the entire world. And right around that time, there was a group of 6 that called themselves the Mount Vernon Proprietors. There was Mount Pemberton over here to the right, all about 60 feet tall, Beacon Hill, and then Mount Vernon on the other side of that, all 3 in a row. Their goal, their dream was a city upon a hill. And of course, the hill they had their eyes on, well, it was all 3 of them. They were given the go-ahead, they came in, had things plowed down. No physical labor allowed at all on the Sabbath, and that includes cooking as well. So what these families would do to eat the day before the Sabbath, they would all put these big pots of beans outside over open fires. They cook a few days at a time. Alright, so we're on the outskirts of Government Center out here. Government Center, it's only been around since the 60s. Before it was here, it was all the C's, the Bruins are the B's, the Patriots are the Pats, the Red Sox are the Sox, the Revolution's our soccer team, nobody watches them. For over a century, the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus has been coming to town. They perform here at the Garden as well. You see a big old bridge. The Leonard P. Zacum Bunker Hill Memorial Bridge. Currently the world's widest cable-stayed bridge. 10 lanes of traffic wide. But they built the new garden literally 9 inches from the old garden right out there. The word was when they tore that down, they were actually going to plant a garden there, but parking is more of a moneymaker. Who's ready to splash into the river? Waterfront Wanda, Liberty Teresa, Tub of the Hub, Commonwealth Curly, Beacon Hilda, and Olga Ironsides. We are aboard Molly Molasses. You know, the great thing about the word future, there's no deadline. This right here, the future home of the Charles River Skate Park. It's going to become the nation's 2nd largest skateboard park, 40,000 square feet. Open to BMX bikes, inline skates, and skateboards. It will be open 24 hours a day, totally free to use. And you know the old cliche, location, location, location. Well, that's pretty much what they're talking about. Strategically located right across the river from the Spalding Physical Rehabilitation Hospital and Mass General Hospital. Perfect. Right, that's just the prop going into gear here. Drop it into first, sound the horn. And one more sound of the horn as we exit here, just for added safety. Drawbridge in the harbor. That's not where we're going. Alright. Welcome to Charles River. Buoyancy, we are before. You want the river, go underneath the Longfellow Bridge out there to the left. Little miscommunication right there. Sorry about that. Pepper Bridge. The big towers up top, there are two smaller ones on each end, each and all. They all kind of look like salt and pepper shakers locally. Some people do call that the Salt and Pepper Bridge. Now the river, throughout the years, it has guts, and it was awful. Cambridge over here, we're talking 150 years ago, used to be big time industry. Now remember I told you the Back Bay was once a big polluted mud flat? That's where it came from. And we're talking decades of neglect going on out here. That's the financial district right down there. Under the Longfellow again. Now there's Viking ship. Why in the world with Vikings here in Boston? Well, when this bridge was built, again, 1900 they started, a lot of people actually believe that Vikings were the first Europeans to travel up the Charles River. You know how much evidence they had to prove this Viking theory? Nothing. Zero. They found Viking coins in Rhode Island, so they're like, oh, they definitely went to Boston for a Sox game or something. I don't know. Every 4th of July, that's where the Boston Pops are, followed by the fireworks out here in the river. Anybody go to the concert last night?
No. Oh, no.
Here's what's really good concerts every summer. Fenway Springsteen, Jimmy Buffett, The Police, The Stones, Fish, Dave Matthews Band, Show Pro, Willie Nelson. That was all one bill right there. Sir Paul McCartney. We've had Neil Diamond out there. Last year was Jay Giles, the Jay Giles Band, and Aerosmith. And 2 months ago, it was Kids on the Block, $159, and the season April 1st through October 31st. All right. Coming up on the right-hand side, we're going to find out here, and there's an episode of The Simpsons where Homer was having a meeting with Mr. Burns in Mr. Burns' office, and one of the missing paintings was like, yeah, what are you going to do? Where the old Boston Garden used to be, right looking at the garden there, to the left is a parking lot. That's where the old Boston Garden used to be, right next to it. We just have this big elevated highway here in the city. Where that highway used to be? Right here. If we were in this exact spot 10 years ago, I was able to secure the money for the big digs. Second time. Handful of pastry shops.
Mike's Pastry.
Mike's. Modern. Maria's. Bova. Yep. See the sign at the end on the left says on, tur, use. That's the Yuki Oyster House right there. 1826. And that other building right there, that's you'll find the Bell and Hand Bar, been around since 1795. That's what colonial Boston used to be like right there, the little cobblestone narrow streets right there. The red letters over above the rooftop, yeah. Back in the 1850s, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, back in 1826, it's a big mall today, more or less, but it was very agricultural. Big horse-drawn carriages, it's pushed balcony right out front. July 18th of 1776, the Declaration of Independence read to the people of Boston for the very first time ever. This was the British meeting house during the Revolutionary War. The taxes and tariffs, whatever they handed down, came from that building right there.
We gotta walk around.
But the most ironically situated building in Boston, this one just up to the left-hand side, the home offices of the Boston Public School System, sitting on the site of the city's very first ever prison. Coincidence? Probably. Now when you are, believe it or not, out here, you'll find somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000 bodies right out there. No caskets, no coffins, just kind of right on top of each other. And if you can trace your lineage to anybody buried here, you can get that same exact treatment. We've had one as recent as the 70s. Who likes Boston cream pies? Benjamin Franklin's parents, Paul Revere and his family, and the 5 victims of the Boston Massacre. Take a look up Park Street to the right, up the hill. Just a great view of the State House up there. And back down around Boston Common we go. They're actually building a brand new little park on the way around. It's so good. Like that. where all of those trees, plants, flowers are. You come back in the springtime, you will find over 9,000 trees, and they all have disappeared. But it's worth it too, as we have them out there. Basically, what it all boils down to is this end of the street is Giorgio Armani. The opposite end of the street is his lesser-known younger brother, Salvation Armani. I really dig Newbury Street, though. All walks of life going on out here. There's the Taj back there. Now, you've seen the John Hancock Tower from afar. Let's get right on up next to it. Bottom of the John Hancock Tower on the sidewalk. Well, a couple of buddies of his went up to the top carrying some grapes. They dropped the grapes. 788 feet.
Construit en 1713, c'est ici qu'a été publié et lu pour la première fois la Déclaration d'indépendance. Dans le temps qui est long, c'est pas. Ça marche-tu ça?
Oui.
T'as pas déjà filmé ça?
One more thing. What's that? You're the Asian guy. I found them. Give it up for the Asian! You tried to act like he wasn't Asian. Okay, nobody moves, nobody gets hurt. Except the kid. Alright, what's gonna happen real quick? Real fast. A black guy is gonna flip over. 2.5 people. If you guys wanna see that, say yeah. Not like that, man. Live show, live audience. This size shirt depends on you guys' energy. The more energy you give me, the safer they are. With that type of energy, you're going to run, jump, land, here. You guys see that? Say yeah.
You guys are sick!
Yes. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Makes you volunteer. Sure. Are you? Nobody move.
Nobody move. You will die.
Dale, interromper. City Hall.
Don't be afraid to give a black guy your bag. It's okay, you can trust me. I hold the hood.
Double check the Asian guy. Go, go,
Where you going? Oh, we don't do that anymore.
Everybody say do it, black guy. Do it. White people, it's okay to say it. Exactly. Now everybody say do it, black guy. Black guy gotta do it. But here's the sad part. Here's the sad part. If I take this jump first, all of you guys are gonna leave. And it's not, that's the sad part. The smart part. Before I jump over, we're gonna come around and collect your money.
I know it.
People keep in mind, the donations be blessed. I don't do things.
What's that? Yes, people, with that being said, we are not paid for being here. What you guys give us is what we leave with. We're going to start on this side and work our way around. If you try to leave, we will chase you. We're on the way home. That's right. And don't try it. Let's guys.
So you can do it one piece, two, you can mix it and you make your own set. Where are you from?
That was
Alors ici, c'est le motel à Boston, en fait Denver exactement. C'est ici qu'on était. On est presque prêt à partir pour le jour 3. Et nous, on était en haut, là-bas. Oh, ben oui.
Ik zie nergens de dugout, ja.
As you can see, this is a great view of where everything is. The Celtics actually rent their time and space here. You can see the banners. The Boston Celtics have...
Dactylo du président avec des pages annotées par lui.
Ça fait 50 ans qu'il a été élu président cette année.
Un écrit à la main authentique.
And I yes, a record player, you see that? Oh, this is the hair dryer. It's gonna got the hair dryer.
No public official Either request or accept instruction is missions disappointed. Tomorrow, they begin. To show how desperate and terrible this campaign has become, they're handing out signs of Pennsylvania. A poster which says, Jack Kennedy is after your job. I'm after Mr. Eisenhower's job.
Like this, Mama? Yes.
I think that there is general agreement by all of our citizens that a supreme national effort will be needed in the years ahead to move this country safely through the 90 degree of mind and spirit that I possess will be devoted to the long-range interest of the United States and to the cause of freedom around the world. So now my wife and I prepare for a new administration. By the steady spread of the deadly atom, yet both racing toward that uncertain balance of terror that stays the hand.
Which we have committed ourselves to in the ports of the countries like Greece, Turkey,
frightening economic picture, it might not be necessary to push your tax bill.
I don't agree with that at all. The fact of the matter is that the economy today is moving along at relatively the same figure as was estimated when it comes to the economic advisors. It might be about $2 billion more. But the fact is, I think that one of the reasons why the economy has moved along.
And he had a few kind words to say about profit. He said, do you read any great amount of significance into this?
No, I don't. Information is the same on both sides, fortunately, both sides of the Iron Curtain, which is why I'm optimistic about the ultimate outcome of this. afternoon, following a series of threats and defiant statements, the presence of Alabama National Guardsmen was required on the University of Alabama to carry out the final and unequivocal order of the United States District Court of the Northern District of Alabama. That order called for the admission of 2 fairly qualified young Alabama residents who happen to have been born Negro.
And from the right, I built my
the fact they persevered, they took the risk they did, is something that the award wants to recognize and really provide an example to other people in politics to do.
We gave out the first award around 1990. My mother was there. And my brother and I served on the committee throughout the early years, as well as my Uncle Teddy. So it's really been a family project.
This award recognizes his life. It's one of the
Bonjour, ici je suis présentement à Harvard. Et je crois que ma conclusion, quand je vois tout ça, c'est que si je reviens ici un jour, ça va pas être pour étudier, mais pour visiter. Parce que étudier ici, ça m'étonnerait, je pense, pas être assez intelligent puis pas ses compétences. Bonjour, je suis présentement à Harvard. Pas en tant qu'élève, mais en tant que visiteur. Ouais, c'est ça, visiteur. Bonjour, j'ai aujourd'hui 15 ans et il était temps que je me décide sur où je m'en vais bientôt. Présentement, je suis à Harvard en tant que visiteur et non élève. Puis je me suis dit que je viendrais pas ici en tant qu'élève parce que ça a l'air un peu trop. Protestant.
Oui, c'est Baptiste.
C'est quand même un peu curieux de voir l'intérieur.
Harvard.
Bonjour, je suis présentement à Harvard et aujourd'hui je fête mes 15 ans. Puis là je suis rendu pas mal à un âge où il faut que je me demande qu'est-ce que je vais faire de ma peau plus tard. Ben, j'ai déjà un indice, je viendrai pas ici. Ici, je suis présentement là en tant que visiteur, mais je regarde comment ça marche, ça a l'air riche. C'est pas pour moi. C'est donc ça, Harvard. Franchement, je suis un peu déçu.
Harvard.
C'est de l'autre bord.
Le H. Quelques gates.
Non, c'est cool.
Alors, quelques vidéos. Et pendant les vacances, c'est ça que j'ai de l'air. Et au déplaisir de tous, n'est-ce pas?
Surtout de ma femme!
Exact!
Oh, wesh! Moi, je vais me laisser pousser tout le bras.
Ça torche. Get away.
Yes, as usual. The Celtic boy.
Motherfucker.
OK, Pou. Alors, bilan de la journée.
Ben, comme hier matin, on s'est réveillé de façon plutôt difficile. On est resté fatigué de la journée avant. On a pas mal fait de stock aujourd'hui, mais je dirais qu'on a pris ça assez relax quand même. On a commencé par aller voir le Garden. On pourrait dire le stade.
C'est le TD Garden.
Ouais, ben pour les Celtics, c'est Boston. Après, on est allé voir un musée de John F. Kennedy.
Oui.
Très intéressant.
Quelle était ta pièce préférée? En fait, ton truc préféré?
Je dirais que le morceau de la lune.
Ah oui, oui.
Et après, on est allé voir l'université que j'ai l'intention de rentrer dedans peut-être bientôt. Harvard.
Ouais, tu vois, comment dire, je suis à Harvard pour visiter.
Ouais, pour visiter.
OK.
Puis, Harvard a été surpris quand même. Je veux dire, l'université était répandue sur un gros secteur, mais les rues qui passaient au travers, pas de gros terrain, sauf au grand centre, là. Mais franchement, j'étais un peu déçu.
OK. Et tu nous parles de ça ici?
Oh, ben, on a réussi à convaincre la madre de nous faire manger au Dunkin' Donuts.
OK.
Et on a dîné au beigne. Et voici les
Ouais,
restes.
toi, tu as dîné au beigne. OK. Toi, Marianne, t'as dîné à quoi?
T'as mangé des beignes?
Pour dîner?
Genre.
Genre.
Oui ou non?
Ouais. T'as-tu une déclaration à faire?
Il m'énerve. C'est tout ce que j'ai à dire.
OK, nous.
Ben,
Et,
moi, je vous donne faim, justement.
OK. Quel était ton beigne préféré?
Le Captain America.
OK. En quelle forme était-il?
C'était la forme d'une étoile. À l'intérieur, il y avait du truc de fraise, là.
OK.
À la surface, il y avait du crémage blanc sucré avec de la patente, là.
OK. Yeah. Bon, c'est notre dernière nuit ici. Demain, départ pour
New York!
New York.
Hey, Maud.
Quoi?
À New York, je dors sur le divan. Il y a un divan.
Oui.
Parce que là, moi, j'ai dormi sur cette surface-là.
OK, c'est vrai. Explique-nous, là.
Explique ça, Pou!
Alors,
Je crois que je suis dans le chemin.
En fait, c'est parce que j'ai un peu d'expérience pour ce qui est de dormir dans le même lit que quelqu'un, mais j'avais pas envie de passer les vacances à essayer de dormir pogné sans pouvoir avoir mon espace vital, parce que tu sais, je veux pas accrocher la personne à côté puis la réveiller. Fait que j'ai demandé à Maud, avant le voyage, si je pouvais dormir à terre. Comme c'était là, vu qu'on est 5, il y allait avoir un lit additionnel, puis il y aurait 2 paires de 2. Mais il n'y a pas eu de lit, selon un lit additionnel, fait que finalement ils se retrouvent 2 par 2. Et moi je dors à terre ici. Les 2 couvertes qui sont là, je les pogne, un pour un matelas, un pour couverte, puis je pogne l'oreiller.
bon. Soit dit en passant, on n'a pas de micro-ondes, pas de frigidaire, et on a entendu dans l'appartement à côté, l'autre matin, les gens se faire du bacon. Les Américains, ils l'ont là.
Oh, well, you're gonna get Mike. Mike, make sure you tell me you're part of our group.
Right.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Je touche
The first 25 minutes, 10 overall, this is about 4 like that. Yeah. No problem.
Exactly what we're seeing here. That's just, I don't know what's here. Okay, here it is.
Alors le terrain ici est un mémorial pour les personnes qui ont été pendues. On peut voir les bancs. Sur chaque banc, il y a un nom et la date de pendaison. Et c'est un mémorial pour les victimes innocentes. On va aller voir ça de plus près. La guide nous a expliqué que le mémorial, le mur, ici, sépare les pendus de ceux qui les ont accusés. Alors ça, ce qu'on a de l'autre côté, c'est ceux qui ont été les accusateurs. En fait, pas tous, là, mais ils sont enterrés là. Et le mur ici les sépare. Et ils appellent ça le mur de l'ignorance. On peut voir aussi que le mur a été ouvert. En fait, le guide nous expliquait que les pierres ont été déplacées de l'autre bord. C'est pour comme créer une ouverture, une sorte d'ouverture à la compréhension et à l'explication. Ça, c'est la pierre tombale la plus vieille, je crois, décédée en avril 1718. Alors ici, l'arbre nous impressionne un peu.
Ouais. Il est comparé à nous. Il doit y avoir moyen de grimper, là.
Fais-y un câlin.
Un câlin.
Essaye de faire un câlin.
Ok, je vais faire le tour.
Je ne comprends pas. On se demande si c'est pas un pirate, là.
Regardez là-dessus, mais. Oh non, ok, c'est juste de l'eau. Mais c'est toutes les îles. C'est ça le problème, c'est que. Je suis pas bien placé.
C'est grouille là.
Alors, 27 juillet, on est presque prêt pour le Big Apple. Notre sanctuaire a de l'air de ça. Et vos commentaires, monsieur?
Ben. Ça sera Ouais, de le fun. Certaines affaires j'ai pas vues la première fois que je suis allé. Mais pour l'instant, là, zéro stress. Juste quelques problèmes de digestion. Mais ça va aller.
Bon.
C'est parti.
Alors, c'est parti.
Ça valait le coup, mais pas forcément.
C'est lui qui est tout. Pas celui qui fait les vagues. Pas celui qui fait les vagues, celui qui est juste derrière.
görünmeyecek. Var ya, makineli
Vay.
Ej, słuchaj, co twoja?
C'est dansant, New York. Franchement, je suis un peu déçu.
L'impression?
J'ai envie de pisser.
This gray building was built in the 90s. It's also kind of a federal system. And when they were building it, they discovered the graveyard. Some slaves and some free states have been given land to bury their dead. They announced the fact they said it's going to be 1,776 feet tall. As soon as you say, look at this little park here, this is kind of a sneak peek of what the new World Trade Center is going to look like. Lots of trees, lots of plants. Even look at the color of the stone that they use.
A shot of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Hey, when I went to America, I took a picture of a lot of people.
You want to put your feet up?
Okay.
And go like this. 1, 2, 3. It looks like he's sleeping. You can do it again. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Bon ben, c'est pas grave.
Oui, quand c'est fait.
Plus haut.
Encore un peu plus haut. OK.
Finito, Miami. Finito, baseball. Finito, Elvis. Yes. Finito.
I'm gonna need you to fill out a
New York, New York.
Oui. Action.
Allez, rendez-vous. Allez, c'est pas là. Oui, construis. Allez, c'est pas longtemps, voilà. Allez, construis.
Là, t'es pas dans mon champ de vision. Faut que tu t'avances.
Recule. Ta carrière, il faudrait qu'on la voie.
OK?
Sweeten your stomach almost instantly. You feel better fast.
C'est John Wayne, ouais.
And now let's join the soup.
I neither took part in I have no prior knowledge of the water break. I neither took part in nor knew about any of the substance, cover-up activities. I neither authorized nor encouraged or ordered.
I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
She's right over there. You like a soup, man. Be gentle with him. She might say, no soup for you. But it was a pretty place. She made millions in that. And when you get up there, you can look on your left corner down there, and you can see the old building is still below it. So they got into the old building. There's great guys. We're going to come back to the park in a minute. We're going to run back over and go see also live there. The baseball player. It's a soundproof building. A soundproof building. It's a National Historic Landmark, so they tried to build the one next to it, kind of to make it look a little more modern than the old one, 19.
Wanna go? Go back there and then when we open up.
The bedrock, the wall around it. That was made out of the glaciers thousands of years ago. That bedrock was made from it.
And if you do not know the meaning of the word trade, please ask somebody older than you to explain that word. Okay?
Quelqu'un veut un petit rafraîchissement? Quelqu'un veut un rafraîchissement?
Non. Bon.
Now, one thing I should
done is this guy who's in front of us with that van should not have stopped there. We're going to get close here, folks. Rockabye Central by next stop. 30 Rock is where we do the Saturday Night Live and also the Jimmy Fallon Show. The top building on your right, up ahead also has an observation deck. Top of the rock. Sit down, guys, sit down.
Dobrze, Marta, Antyzemiczka, dobrze. Dobrze, Marta. No jeszcze.
That's very square. When the man can take the square.
Il achète ça.
prochaine bretelle.
Slow down, slow down. They say slow down.
Step.
Oh, c'est ça, pour.
C'est les steps, ça?
Oui.
C'était là-bas.
Je les ai vus.
Ah ben ouais, je reconnais. Ça semble, tu sais, tout qu'on devait être proche.
Les deux sont très très proches.
On va être dans le beau coin de Philadelphie, il faut croire que c'est pas si gros que ça. Ça ressemble à Québec.
J'en ai aucune idée, hein.
Ça veut dire les années 30, hein?
C'est vrai.
Ouais, là, il y a des...
C'est beaucoup plus vieux que ça, la dernière.
Puis dans notre film, Museum of Art.
Ouais, demande si tu veux quel langage que tu veux.
Alors, l'audioguide nous dit que cette prison-là est destinée à faire sentir aux criminels, aux prisonniers, qu'ils ont vraiment mal fait, mais elle est basée aussi sur l'idée que dans tous les hommes, il y a du bon et qu'il y a matière à les redresser. On signale que la prison avait pour effet, sur les immigrants européens surtout, l'idée d'une force brutale, l'idée de le respect de la loi absolument. Alors, le bloc numéro 1 a été ouvert en 1839. Avant la prison, eh bien, les prisonniers étaient mis ensemble, un peu comme dans un asile, et chacun attendait son châtiment. Alors, avant l'avènement de cette prison-là, les principales punitions étaient, par exemple, l'humiliation publique, les flagellations. Et aussi des choses qui font mal. Ce genre de punition a soulevé l'indignation de quelques hommes politiques et donc des changements ont voulu être apportés. Alors ce groupe politique, influencé par l'idée que l'homme est foncièrement bon, ont voulu apporter des corrections. Alors ces hommes-là ont décidé de réformer la prison et ça donne ce qu'on voit actuellement. Au même moment où cette prison-là a été construite, le président des États-Unis n'avait pas d'eau courante dans la Maison-Blanche et utilisait un pot de chambre. Donc, à sa manière, cette prison-là était tout à fait révolutionnaire au point de vue technologique. Chaque chambre a à peu près 8 par 12, a un lit, une table de travail et une toilette qui est flushée une fois par jour. Je ne peux pas voir bien plus que ça. La prison est désignée pour isoler les prisonniers le plus possible. Alors une restauration de ce qu'était la cellule. Un prisonnier typique enfermé, sentence de 2 ans, qui est la sentence normale, légale. Va passer 2 ans dans le bloc ici, et pendant ces 2 années-là, ne verra jamais personne. Les prisonniers passent plus ou moins 22 heures par jour dans leur cellule, peuvent sortir un petit peu, mais sont toujours seuls.
En tout cas, la nuit, ils ne doivent pas avoir la lumière.
On raconte que l'isolation des prisonniers les rendait pratiquement fous. Avec le temps, la prison a été modernisée. On n'a pas d'informations là-dessus, mais on a le chauffage et l'électricité. Et on raconte que cette prison-là elle était le plus grand projet, ambitieux en tout cas, de contrôle de prisonniers. Et on était sûr d'être dans la bonne voie. On dit que les prisonniers, lorsqu'ils quittaient pour leur sentence, souvent disparaissaient. Et donc, les débats de réussite, est-ce que l'isolement était une réussite, c'est sujet à débat lorsque cette prison-là fonctionne. C'est la pièce ronde. Alors, le système d'isolation va être finalement connu comme étant le système de Pennsylvanie. On raconte que l'isolation devait mener à la réflexion à la religion au bon comportement. Chambre après chambre après chambre, c'est ce genre de décor qu'on a. Ça sent le renfermé. Un système rival, celui de New York. Alors, dans les années 1900, la prison devient une prison à sécurité maximum. Et ceux qui servent des sentences à vie se retrouvent ici. Alors les gardes disaient aux prisonniers, quand les prisonniers sortaient à la fin, on va te revoir bientôt, et les prisonniers disaient non, tu ne me reverras jamais, jamais, au point que même les gens quittaient la ville. Alors ici, c'était un terrain de baseball quand les règlements de la prison ont changé. L'incinérateur de la prison.
C'est où le numéro 11?
Les gens là-bas vont voir le trou. Eh bien, les explications nous disent que les hommes, il y en a un qui a été enfermé là-dedans 30 jours sans voir personne, ni le soleil, rien. Quand il est sorti de là, il était à peu près fou. Toujours basé sur l'idée que le silence mène à la réflexion à la religion, et la religion à la conversion. Alors, sauf pour la cellule de Al Capone, mon vidéo va s'arrêter ici parce qu'il me reste plus ou moins 30 minutes de batterie et on veut pas manquer Étienne et son Rocky Steps. Et ici, c'est le corridor de la mort. On explique que même s'il y a eu le corridor de la mort, eh bien, personne ici n'a été exécuté. Cellule de Al Capone. Alors, après 2 mois de bonne conduite, Capone a été libéré. Le plan était de le faire sortir par cette porte-là. Mais il y avait 500 personnes qui attendaient Capone et un officier responsable a usé d'un scam pour le faire sortir autrement. Et tout a été bien accompli. Peu de temps après, Capone a dû plaider coupable pour évasion fiscale.
Because he was able to construct a tunnel that had lights and ladders that shored up with wood. It was a really amazing process. And on April 3rd,
Le Rocky est là-bas. Alors, Sonia sur les Rocky Steps.
C'est parti.
« 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72 marches pour la Rocky Steps. Oui.
Merci, femme en forme. J'aurais pas réussi sans vous autres.
Alors, la vue panoramique du haut des Rocky Steps. Mesdames et messieurs, les Reverse Rocky Steps. Alors, les Rocky Steps, tout le monde fait ça. Ouais. Alors, un court vidéo pour montrer la différence entre Philadelphie et New York. Et il fait très beau, il fait très chaud.
Ça pue, puis on est bien.
On va pas pourquoi le monde aime la chaleur.
Ça pue, on est bien, on est un peu brûlé.
On est bien.
Et on s'en va vers la Liberty Bell. Par là, and hit it.
$45.
La chaleur est assez élevée, merci. Et on déguste nos
Glace italienne.
les glaces italiennes. Marianne, oui, elle vient de découvrir ça.
Fantastique par une journée chaude.
Fantastique.
Refreshing.
Refreshing.
On est tellement souhaité à l'hôtel avec la climatisée, ce serait le méchant combo.
Alors, enjoy. Alors, on essaye d'aller voir Liberty Bell si c'est possible. On n'a pas l'intention de s'attarder trop, quoique. Alors, un Thierry qui est devant les symboles de l'indépendance américaine. On l'a presque vu. Mais...
C'est ça que tu dis qui est fendu, là?
Ouais, pas de patience pour entrer dans cette ligne-là. No, thank you at all. On vient de se rendre compte qu'après une vitrine, on peut voir la cloche de proche. Là, je vais essayer de la prendre à un autre angle. Donc, la Liberty Bell. Comme ça. No reflex. Alors, la cloche aurait sonné pendant la déclaration d'indépendance. Alors, on est dans l'édifice de la Bourse de Toronto. Et c'est aussi un mini centre d'achat, semble-t-il. Alors, on est étonné. C'est le fun à Philadelphie. Et ça, qu'est-ce que c'est? Il veut rentrer chez lui. Il veut rentrer chez moi. Bon, grand départ. Petit tour de chambre. Alors, il est 8 h du matin. On en a pour 9 h. Et on n'est pas fâché. On a hâte de rentrer chez lui. Alors, on est sur le chemin du retour. Puis là, il est presque 11 h, un petit bilan du voyage. Alors, les déplacements, pas eu de problème. Et puis, on va recommencer parce que le GPS n'arrête pas de parler. Alors, bilan du voyage de retour. En fait, du voyage ensemble, on recommence. Alors, nous sommes sur le chemin du retour. On va faire un petit bilan du voyage. Alors, dans tous les déplacements, ça s'est bien passé et rien n'est arrivé. Point de vue température, sur les 9 jours de voyage, on peut dire qu'on a eu 3 jours de température là, atroce, là, des 34. Là. Ouais. Mais autrement, numéro 1. Point de vue hôtel, rien vraiment à signaler. Mon impression générale, cependant, avec les Américains, c'est qu'eux autres, ils essayent de soutirer de nos poches tous les sous dont ils sont capables, de n'importe quelle façon, que ce soit par de l'eau, que ce soit... moi, ça, c'est mon impression générale. Ce que j'ai aimé le plus, j'ai été très surpris par Philadelphie, ville tranquille, en tout cas, c'est vrai qu'on était samedi, propre, puis...
propre, c'est vrai parce que t'étais pas dans le spot de Rocky.
Ouais. Mais, et j'ai beaucoup aimé la visite de la prison. Toi, Thierry?
Ah, la visite de la prison, j'ai trippé.
Puis le moral des troupes est assez bon. Dans les choses aussi à dire, là, on est dimanche. Demain, Sonia a une entrevue pour un emploi. Étienne, lui, il recommence à travailler demain matin. Puis selon le GPS, si on n'arrêtait pas souper rien, là, on arriverait à 6 h ce soir.
Ce qui fait 7 h encore de route.
Ouais, 7 h encore de route. À part de ça, Marianne, elle va bien, elle est assise avec maman en avant. Puis Étienne, lui, il boude. C'était...
Les actualités du BUC.
Les actualités du BUC. Et il y a des pressions assez intenses dans la famille pour que je me rase la barbe au retour. Alors...
non! C'est authentique!
C'est authentique. Alors...
T'as comme le menton.
Ouais, on a découvert que la grisaille, mais des endroits ça pousse pas. En fait, on ne laissera pas le temps de pousser. Puis, autre chose à mentionner aussi, on a découvert dans le voyage que Étienne et Thierry ont le sens de l'orientation au point que Thierry et Sonia se disputaillent un peu sur quel chemin à suivre. Puis moi, je comprends rien de ce qu'ils disent. Alors, prochaine vidéo... un moment donné.
La glace italienne.
Ah, la glace italienne aussi.
La glace italienne, non.
La glace italienne, c'est notre découverte alimentaire. C'est de la glace qu'on casse extra fine avec des saveurs incroyables. On n'a pas ça au Québec, mais il faudrait qu'il y en ait. Ouais. Alors, next stop. Alors, update, il est maintenant 1 h l'après-midi, tout va bien. Puis, pour passer le temps, on a regardé des vidéos pour découvrir que dans le musée de Mme Dussault, à un moment donné, j'ai foiré le coup. Quand j'ai pesé sur le piton, il arrêtait de filmer alors que je pensais qu'il filmait. Puis donc tout est inversé. Donc,
quand tu voulais arrêter de filmer, tu étais en train de filmer.
C'est ça. Fait que je pensais, c'est ça. Fait que tout est à l'envers. Fait que on n'a pas grands éléments de bon. Autre chose, il a été proposé à notre arrivée à le civil par notre conductrice d'aller à Poutine pour célébrer notre retour.
Mais ce serait une bonne façon de célébrer, je trouve. Patrick a fait ça. Il est arrivé à l'aéroport, puis je pense qu'il est allé se manger une poutine à Noël.
Ouais. On est bien que chez soi. On est bien que chez soi.